Now I need to factor. Now this tells me the signs will be different. The only way of getting 3x squared is 3x and x. The way I can get 2 is 2 and 1. So I can put a 2 and a 1. Now let's see if this works. 3x times x is 3x squared. They give me a negative 3x plus 2x. A negative 3x plus 2x is negative 1x. And then 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Now that I've factored it, what I need to do is to set each factor equal to 0. So I say 3x plus 2 is equal to 0. X minus 1 is equal to 0. If 3x plus 2 is equal to 0, then when I subtract 2 from both sides, I get 3x is negative 2 divided by 3, and I get x is negative 2/3. If x minus 1 is 0, then I need to add 1 to both sides to get x is 1. Now I'll go back and look at my excluded values. My excluded values are 0 and negative 1. So since 0 and negative 1 are excluded, negative 2/3 and 1 are okay. So I have two answers. X is negative 2/3, x is 1. I want to look at one more before I give you some exercises. Let's solve 3x divided by x minus 3 is equal to 2 plus 9 divided by x minus 3. X minus 3 equal to 0 is excluded. Therefore, x equal to 3 is excluded. So x equal 3 is excluded. Now my common denominator is x minus 3, because that's the only denominator I have. Multiply both numbers by the common denominator, so I have x minus 3 times 3x over x minus 3 is equal to x minus 3 times 2 plus 9 over x minus 3. Now already on this side, the x minus 3's will cancel, so I have 3x. And on the other side, I need to distribute. So it would be x minus 3 times 2 plus x minus 3 times 9 over x minus 3. I can reduce. I'm left with 3x is equal to 2x minus 6. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is 6. Plus 9. Here we have a linear equation. So I need to get all of my x's on one side and all my constants on the other side. But first of all, I'm going to combine like terms. So we have 3x is equal to 2x plus 3. A negative 6 plus 9 is 3. Subtract 2x from both sides. I get x is equal to 3. So I get x is 3. But let's go back and look. 3 is excluded. It can't be 3. 3 is excluded. I solved it and I got x is 3. But 3 is an excluded value. So what I have to put is, I have to put no solution. The only solution I got happened to be an excluded value. So therefore, this equation has no solution. Now I want you to do some exercises. Let's solve 1 over a plus 1 over a plus 1 is equal to 3/2. The second one, 5 over x minus 2 is equal to 2x plus 3x minus 1 over x minus 2. Carefully copy the problems, stop the tape, work the problems, restart the tape to check your answers. The answers for the first one, x is equal to a negative 2/3, x is equal to 1. The second one only has one answer, x is equal to a negative 3/2. Now when you solved it, you got two answers. You got x is equal to a negative 3/2 and x is equal to 2. You could not list 2 as an answer because 2 was an excluded value. The same process we've just been discussing can be used to solve literal equations. Now, literal equations would be an equation involving more than one letter, and you have to solve for one of the letters in terms of the others. So what we want to do is to solve 2 over x minus a plus 3 over x minus b is equal to 5 over x minus a times x minus b for x. So that means I'm going to pretend that x is a variable and that a and b are constants. I proceed the same way, except that I do not worry about excluded values now. I will have to know the value of a and the value of b before I can deal with excluded values. Now my common denominator is going to be x minus a times x minus b. So I multiply both members by the common denominator. So I have x minus a times x minus b times 2 over x minus a plus 3 over x minus b is equal to x minus a times x minus b times 5 over x minus a times x minus b. Now that got a little pushed over here, but you heard what I said. So I multiplied the common denominator by the left member. I multiplied the common denominator by the right member. Now I'm going to distribute. So I would have x minus a times x minus b times 2 over x minus a plus x minus a times x minus b times 3 over x minus b is equal to, now notice what happens here. X minus a's will cancel, x minus b's will cancel, so it leaves me with 5. Now I can cancel the x minus a's and be left with 2x minus 2b. I can cancel the x minus b's and I have 3x minus 3a is equal to 5. I can combine my x's. 5x minus 2b minus 3a is equal to 5. I need to have the x's on one side and everything else on the other side. So I can have 5x minus 2b minus 3a is equal to 5. Now to get rid of a negative 2b, I need to add a positive 2b. If I add 2b to one side, I have to add 2b to the other side. To get rid of a negative 3a, I need a positive 3a. If I add a positive 3a to one side, I add it to the other side. So on the left member is now 5x. Because a negative 2b plus 2b is 0, a negative 3a plus 3a is 0. The right member is 5 plus 2b plus 3a. Now I divide by 5, because I divide by the coefficient. Now I can get x is 1 plus 2/5 b plus 3/5 a.